CTV News with Jack Morse.
I got flip-flops on, so yeah, this weather sucks.
We're really looking forward to that fall, middle. There was no middle. We hit from warm to slush, so I don't love it.
From slick roads to icy windshields, salty sidewalks and shivering walkers, we got our first real taste of winter. Thanks for joining us. Wintry conditions have arrived. Nearly 10 centimeters of snow blanketed the region, and more is on the way. Following the first real blast of snow early Sunday morning, the city of Barrie quickly deployed crews to clear primary routes. Teams were alert to start work the moment the snow began to fall, but many drivers were still caught off guard, not fully prepared for the conditions.
In the last 24 hours, the OPP here in the GTA responded to about 220 collisions, in addition to another 120 or so incidents where vehicles were in the ditch or stuck.
Police say most of those crashes were minor, but also preventable. They're warning drivers many roads are still covered in snow and ice, making conditions slick and crunchy. If you slam on the brakes, expect a slide.
With the conditions there, we are seeing more tows and winches, calls for that kind of stuff come through. So busy day, and we're just telling everybody, and it looks like from your traffic report that people are driving according to the weather conditions, but slow and steady wins the race on this day.
When you do head out on the roads, police remind you to clear off your vehicle. Highways may be mostly wet, but side roads are still seeing some snow build up. No school buses were canceled today in Simcoe County, but the winter weather continues and that could change. Students and parents are being reminded to check for updates using the Bus Planner Delays app. Decisions on cancellations will be sent out early in the day, dependent on road conditions, weather forecasts, and plow coverage. For those in need of a heated place indoors, warming centers are open across the region. A few places where you can find space include the Salvation Army on Bayfield Street, while living in Bradford, Faith Community Church in Wasaga Beach, and the Guest Home in Midland. Emergency crews responded to 2 accidents on the 6th line near Tottenham Road this morning. A school bus went into a ditch with no students on board. The driver wasn't hurt. The road was briefly closed for a heavy tow, but before the bus was pulled out, a minivan lost control and hit a parked pickup truck. The driver had stopped to help with the bus. 1 adult and 3 children in the minivan were taken to hospital with what are described as minor injuries. OPP is asking for the public's help after reports of rocks being thrown at vehicles on Highway 118 East near Kirst Road. The first on Saturday afternoon, damaging a windshield. Then on Sunday, a similar incident, also causing damage to a vehicle. No one was hurt. An internal review has been reopened at a Barrie daycare after allegations of inappropriate conduct by an educator saw police, the province, and social services call in to investigate. Tonight, parents are speaking out. Here's CTV's Mike Arcelides.
I think that was the part that really got to me, was that someone was there and saw this happen and didn't say anything.
It was back in August. Christina and Jeff Padano say their 4-year-old daughter told them an unusual story about what happened to her at daycare.
She approached me and said, he sprayed me in the face with a water bottle. So I said, well, why did he spray you in the face? Was it an accident? Was he cleaning something? She said, no, he sprayed me because I was misbehaving during nap time. And he also flicked me in the face.
So I said to her, I'm like, show mommy, how did he do it, right? And so she's like, he went like this to me.
Prompting an investigation by Simcoe Muskoka Family Connections, who the Padanos say told them that the spray bottle used on their daughter contained either soap and water or water and bleach. Barrie police were also called to investigate, though declined to answer questions about their investigation.
When we got the call from CAS, to be quite honest, I was shocked. I was angry. I was upset.
The Padano said the caseworker confirmed their 4-year-old daughter was assaulted by her educator. Padano says the director at Bright Path Barrie told her the employee was sent home, suspended with pay.
Their response back was like, he's a tenured employee, we did training, and we think that that's enough. And we said, no, that's not enough. We want you to acknowledge what you did. We want you to take accountability. We don't understand, why are you continuing to employ this employee? You know that he's done things in the past.
It turns out this wasn't the first time a child had been flicked in the face by the longtime educator.
He was completely desperate and crying and clinging to me and jumping and saying, thank you for picking me up, or take me home. I don't want to be here anymore.
Amanda Filippini says her 4-year-old son was also assaulted by the same daycare teacher in July.
There was this educator who flicked him on the nose and on his mouth. And then he said that it was because he was not sleepy and he didn't want to take a nap.
The Filippinis said their little boy was traumatized.
When I saw him crying, shivering, for me it was something that was beyond the physical thing.
Following a complaint to the Ministry of Education, the Filippinis said the investigators mistakenly interviewed BrightPath staff members who weren't working the day of the alleged assault.
They interviewed the educators that were supposed to be at the classroom but were on vacation.
The Filippinis said the ministry declined to reopen the investigation into the assault of their son, who for the final month of his time at BrightPath was separated from his friends, moved to a different classroom. They say BrightPath hasn't reached out to follow up since their son left the daycare and the Padanos came forward with a complaint.
This employee was under another investigation already, that he was supposed to be on a safe work plan where he wasn't supposed to be alone with other children and supposed to have another educator with him at all times.
In a statement to CTV News, BrightPath saying in part, its leadership is, quote, committed to maintaining a safe and nurturing environment for our children, families, and staff members, adding it has reopened the case for further review, saying, quote, we continue to strengthen our professional development practices and reaffirm our strict safeguarding measures and policies to ensure the utmost safety of our children.
I want them to let him go. Like, I don't understand how you can have this individual represent your brand, your organization who's done this to children. Your job is to take care of children. That is your job.
The Florida-based company's CEO spent Friday afternoon in Barrie speaking one-on-one with families and staff, but was not made available for comment. Mike Arsledy, CTV News, Barrie.
Springwater Township Council was at it once again tonight, a special council meeting challenging Mayor Jennifer Coughlin's use of strong mayor powers in the ongoing Barrie boundary change controversy. The mayor let the town solicitor go Friday after the law firm rejected the legitimacy of her use of strong mayor's powers to overturn a council decision to pursue legal action against a strong mayor bylaw accepting the boundary redraw. The mayor says the wording of the legal challenge directive from council put it at odds with provincial priorities, which means strong mayor powers could apply. Council ultimately passed a sprawling motion tonight calling for a judicial review of the use of strong mayor powers, but Coughlin says it lacks any direction to change the current state of affairs. Let's take a first look at the forecast. First weather brought to you by Presler Injury Law. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. As you can see, much of what we've been seeing through the day, ice and snow. Let's look at the temperatures now. It's cold with temperatures in the negatives across the region. Feels like as cold as -11 in Barrie and Orillia. We'll have your full forecast a little bit later in the show. Now an update on the Ross Street apartment fire, a story we brought you first a few weeks ago. Tenants forced from their homes are still waiting for answers. CTV's Luke Samart has the latest.
A light dusting of snow blankets the apartment walls at 96 Ross Street. As winter sets in, the new reality is setting in for residents displaced after a September electrical fire. No one allowed in until last week when tenants were allowed to grab what they could from inside the walls they used to call home.
They had a phase one where you were allowed to go in, take a bunch of your small items, stuff and carry by hand, and then you had to wait to get any of your larger items.
Garrett Harrington and his family were able to gather their belongings over the weekend. Others, not so lucky.
I can't. My knees are shot, my back is shot. I've tried to get a hold of the management with no luck. They expect me to crawl up 5 floors and put heavy furniture on my back.
Stark used to call the 5th floor home. He says mobility issues have limited how much he can move out.
There's quite a few seniors and disabled into that building, and without the elevator working, there's no way we're going to get up. And all of my nice furniture.
These photos obtained by CTV News shows hallways covered and humidifiers everywhere.
They have dehumidifiers going, and I believe they have air purifiers going there nonstop. The only power they have is just along the hallways and a little bit in that main corridor.
In a statement to CTV News, Skyview Living, the company which owns the building, 96 Ross Street, remains unlivable. The building currently remains uninhabitable until electrical repairs, safety assessments, and remediation efforts can be completed. There are no estimates for when residents can move back in. Despite communication with CTV News, tenants say they have heard next to nothing from the management company.
I haven't even received a phone call or a message stating to us what's happening. They just want us out, the whole apartment cleaned out.
Tenants that we spoke with have told us they have until November 28th to remove all of their items from 96 Ross Street before the building is fully closed off. Skyview Living would not give us a specific date, but have asked tenants to remove their items as soon as possible so that repairs can be made promptly. Luke Samar, CTV News, Barrie.
Donations continue to pour in for families impacted by Hurricane Melissa. CTV's Rob Cooper has more on how locals are sending much-needed supplies overseas.
Donations for those who were affected by Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica are coming in fast and furious across the county. Lots of people dropping off much-needed supplies to be shipped over in the coming weeks.
Anything I can do to help, I'm doing. Oh, I've dropped off some garden tools for the Jamaicans for the relief program.
Goldsmith's Farm Market and Bakery in Thornbury is one of 3 officially sanctioned locations in Ontario set up to accept donations from the public. So far, they've collected about 4,000 pounds of goods to ship to Jamaica.
Tools and batteries and lights and those types of things that are going to be paramount into helping Jamaica rebuild.
Kyle Oakley owns and operates the Farm Market and Bakery. He says they've been using Jamaican workers at their farm for decades. This past summer, the farm had as many as 28 foreign workers on staff. All of them had family back home affected by the hurricane.
This is important is because they are often part of an extended family.
Approximately 35 farms are part of the Georgian Bay Fruit Growers Association, and in 2025, they employed more than 600 Jamaicans.
For over 60 years, Jamaicans have been coming to this area to work on our farms. They are very integral to the production of fruit and vegetables in Ontario. Without them, we wouldn't have a horticulture industry.
The collection of goods and funds is a big job, and volunteers have an even bigger part of getting everything together. Many people in our area have loved ones in Jamaica, and there's been no shortage of people offering to help. Nova Nicole is involved and is trying to use social media to drum up support.
At Goldsmiths, collecting your donations. These are dignified, skilled workers that we depend on, and I want us to know that they can depend on us.
Goldsmith's Farm Market and Bakery in Thornbury will be collecting donations until 4 o'clock tomorrow. If you'd like to make a donation, a GoFundMe account has been set up. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Thornbury.
Coming up a little bit later in the show, a ceremony held in Alliston honoring Indigenous veterans. Stay right there. You're watching CTV News Barrie. After more than 25 years, Canada has officially lost its measles elimination status. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver explains.
Measles is one of the world's most contagious diseases, but low vaccination rates leading to a year of outbreaks across the country have lost Canada its measles-free status.
Everything's pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, we couldn't stop the outbreak completely in time to lose our elimination status. But the direction of travel is that we will get it back.
Canada received its measles elimination status in 1998 after decades of rallying to stop its circulation. But now the virus has come roaring back. From 1998 to 2024, an average of just 91 cases were reported annually. So far this year, 4,800 cases have been confirmed, with another 362 considered probable.
It's because of some localized areas that have been under-immunized. And it's a shame because it's not a reflection of overall Canadian experience.
Measles infects the respiratory tract and then spread throughout the body, with a rash and high fever the most common symptoms. While most recover, it can cause deafness and, in rare cases, death.
The second the rash starts, it's like anybody would know. It's literally from head to toe, under their feet, in between their toes, everything.
Michelle Sear's daughter was hospitalized with the measles last month. Sear has no idea where she caught it.
Make sure you do your vaccinations. That's my biggest concern, because if I was a little late with hers, and I think that if I would have got it on time, then maybe she wouldn't have got it.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says transmission is slowing, but that it will take time to finish this outbreak. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The province's decision to remove school board trustees has sparked anger amongst a group of parents. They say the move hurts students who need special education. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris reports.
What supports even exist?
This mom of 2 kids with special needs explains many parents like her feel lost.
We are on island all by ourselves trying to navigate this system in a storm around us, and we don't know where we're going.
Trustees who'd been intermediaries, a conduit through which to get answers, not available at school boards where provincially appointed supervisors have taken the reins.
The supervisors in the 5 appointed boards are not responsive. They're not responding to emails or calls or parent queries.
With fear of creep to other boards, advocates are urging parents to bring their problems to the Minister of Education, dubbing him a super trustee.
Did your school board increase the size of your child's special education class in a way that makes it harder for your child to learn? Better call Paul.
Paul Calandra has turned off the streaming of board meetings and accused trustees of squandering money and time. Disability advocate David Lepofsky argues trustees have been blocked from making meaningful decisions to help students.
What the heck are they there for? So the solution isn't take them away. It's empower them to actually overcome the tyranny of the education bureaucrats.
The Ford government has sped up the process to pass Bill 33, which would make it easier for the minister to take over school boards.
I want it passed so that I can take action, not only in the boards that we're supervising, but across the province to ensure that teachers get what they need and that kids succeed.
A spokesperson for Minister Calandra emphasizes that funding for special education has been boosted by more than $1 billion since 2018. It says school boards were put under supervision to restore accountability and trust. Calandra is still considering eliminating trustees entirely, making a decision by the end of the year.
If this cancer grows, we're all in for a great deal of trouble.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Now time for a look at the extended forecast. But first, outside the studio here at CTV Barrie, 33 Beacon Road in Barrie. You can see a little bit of something in the air there. That's the snow that we've been seeing all day. Slow moving traffic on the highways. People drive to conditions. All right, now we do have a few things to tell you in regards to watches and warnings. So from Barrie to Owen Sound, we're in a snow squall warning right now. When it goes to the other side of Barrie, sweeping down into Newmarket and Orangeville, that's where you've got your snow squall advisory there. Remember, the warning is more severe than the advisory. Looking at the temperatures right now, it is cold out. Everything in the minuses across. Feels like minus 12, 11, 13 degrees in some parts of our region. As for the almanac today, the high was -4, well below the record 24.3 set back in 2020. If we look at the forecast for the next 24 hours rather, we see more of what we were seeing today. Snow cover, rain cover, just wet and cold weather coming down from the sky there over tomorrow. See the temperature, it's going to get a little bit warm during the day, and when I say a little bit warm, I mean above freezing. We're still going to see a lot of snow coming down tomorrow, especially around the lake there. High as high as 3 degrees. Toward Toronto, 3 degrees as well. More snow there, and heading up to Cottage Country, we're going to see that there is going to be even more snow in that part of the region. A little bit cooler temperatures, 3 to 1 degree, depending on where you are. Looking at the 5-day forecast now, we're seeing snow and mixed precipitation throughout the end of the week. The high hovering around 5, the low hovering right around 0. In York region, more of the same, a little bit warmer there, so that precipitation, that when it comes down is going to look a little bit more like rain, with the highs there creeping up 5, 6, 7, and the lows hovering just above or at freezing. From Muskoka, Perry Sound, and Haliburton, that's where you're going to see the snow, of course, which chances of at the end of this week, so the forecast isn't perfectly clear yet. The high 4-3 degrees, the low right around 0, all the way down to -4. That is the 5-day forecast. Still ahead, continuing a long tradition, cadets standing guard at the Barrie Cenotaph this hour, honoring veterans before tomorrow's service. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie. The town of Kearney made a splash this weekend with the 9th annual Santa Claus Charity Ski Show. Crowds lined Main Street as Santa and his team traded their sleigh for skis, gliding, jumping, and splashing into the chilly waters. This year's show featured some of Canada's best ski performers, and for the first time, a full-size ski jump that sent Santa's reindeer flying through the air. The event raised more than $30,000 and 4,000 pounds of food for the Burke's Fall and District Food Bank. A ceremony in Alliston paid tribute to the Indigenous veterans, honoring their courage, sacrifice, and service to Canada.
Indigenous Veterans Day is when all the veterans were called up to duty, and all of them went without question. All of them, like, they signed up. You didn't have to go and say, you got to come and join us. They volunteered.
The event recognized First Nations, Inuit, and Métis heroes, many of whom returned home without recognition of what they did during the war. Since the World Wars, more than 12,000 Indigenous men and women have served on the front lines, with many women serving as nurses, air traffic controllers, and radio operators.
My grandfather fought in World War I, and my uncle fought in World War II, and my sister was a peacekeeper. And myself, when I joined, I was infantry, and I enjoyed the armed forces.
I found out the amount of Aboriginal people contributed in history with the war. I was shocked by the amount. We're talking thousands, and that's, you know, World War I, World War II, and now I can understand where history is, that we contributed greatly.
The ceremony at the Alliston Cenotaph stands as a reminder of Indigenous veterans and their legacy. Cadets are standing guard at Barrie Cenotaph this hour, a long tradition honoring veterans ahead of tomorrow's Remembrance Day service.
Okay, reset, arms.
Local cadets from all 4 branches, Sea, Army, and Air, as well as the youngest Navy League cadets, are taking part in the vigil, a chance to show their respect for those who fought and died for our country.
One of the reasons why I chose to volunteer for this was to pay respects to the veterans who have lost their lives for the greater good and fight for Canada, and also to free Europe of all the aggression that was going on.
Most years they stay up all night until the ceremony tomorrow. Because of the weather, this year they will break at midnight, returning to their posts tomorrow morning at 6. This Remembrance Day, you're invited to join Barrie's Legion and the city to honor the bravery and sacrifice of Canada's veterans. The ceremony of the vigil will take place starting at 9 a.m., a parade and a ceremony at 10 in Memorial Square, with a moment of silence at 11 o'clock. CTV News will also be hosting special coverage of the National Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa from 10 to noon. Coverage will be streamed live on our website, app, and broadcast. And as always, veterans ride Barrie Transit free all day on Remembrance Day, along with one companion. Simply show the transit operator any ID that proves your veteran status. The city of Barrie paying tribute to its local heroes with the return of veterans banners, a powerful display for Remembrance Day. The city has raised 93 flags throughout Meridian Place, City Hall, and along the waterfront to Tiffin Street, each one honoring a local soldier who served our country. This year, 6 new flags added to the series, including one featuring a woman who served as a nurse in the Second World War.
For the city of Barrie, it's always been part of our fabric to be so connected to the military, connected to those who fought for our country, for our freedoms, who sacrificed literally everything in cases. And certainly we want to make sure that that continues going forward. We need to make sure that we don't forget and that we always have the commemoration and remembrance happening in this community because of, again, those ultimate sacrifices that have been made.
Also new this year, an online story map that gives you a chance to learn more about each veteran and their legacy. And thousands of flags are going up outside Canada's largest veterans centre as the community gets ready to honour those who served ahead of Remembrance Day. CTV's Mike Walker gives us a look.
One by one, Canadian and Indigenous design flags are being planted, a poignant symbol honoring the service and sacrifices made by veterans who live at Sunnybrook's Veterans Centre.
It gives me a kind of a joy to see that happen.
Like 74-year-old Oswald Reese, he served with the 48th Highlanders and participated in several UN peacekeeping missions.
I just look at it and remember all the soldiers, everybody that take part in the wars and what they have done. To get a happy feeling to know that we did something that make the world a better place.
This is the 15th year for Operation Raise a Flag. All day, a small army of volunteers, staff, and military members have been planting 30,000 flags on the lawns in and around Sunnybrook, a display veterans will wake up to on Remembrance Day.
I think it's so important that we appreciate, learn, and make sure we remember.
It's a tradition here for us to have Veterans Week and to really pay tribute to the sacrifices that they made for us, for Canada.
Each flag represents a donation from the community, with the proceeds supporting several programs offered at the Veterans Centre. Programs meant to enhance the quality of life for veterans, including a music room, photography club, and recently a new library branch.
Average age is about 97, 98. And I really strongly believe that a big part of that is because we do focus on enhancing their quality of life. It's more than just about their physical health.
150 veterans call Sunnybrook home, like Len Kubis, who spent the morning watching from the window.
I'm impressed with all the activity that supports veterans.
He was a navigator with the Royal Canadian Air Force and says it's an overwhelming display of gratitude.
Some of my classmates ended up not surviving their tour of duty, so I'm very happy to be here.
During a solemn time of remembrance. Mike Walker, CTV News.
And that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Jack Morris. Thank you for watching. Good night.